The market's down, crypto's down. So I got creative and now I'm mining something completely new. Let's talk about it. These are the market conditions. Look at all this red. Nothing that we can do as GPU miners and even ASIC miners to some extent is profitable at the moment. If I come over to what to mine and I put in my GPU farm, which is around 1200, 12 to 1300 mega hash according to ETC, I hit calculate. This is what I can mine for a profit. Now, also, let's take into account that I have solar, I have Tesla Powerwalls, my power's free. I can mine all day and my bill is not going to change when it comes to power. However, if you look at this NiceHash, I've never even mined with NiceHash. Maybe I need to learn how to do that. But if you just come down and you look at the crypto, it starts out, if you're paying for power 13 cents, you're starting out negative. But the best I can do with my GPU setup is $4.66 for my entire farm, if you will. And I've got helium miners, 17 of them, and they're making about $15 a day, barely using any power. Those are my most profitable miners. But I got to thinking about my entire setup and I go, what if I mined the sun? Let's look at this. Okay, so what I want to do here is I'm going to have my Tesla app. This is in real time right now, what's going on, what my solar's producing, what my power walls are doing, what my home is using. And I also want to look at the power bill that I have, not the power bill, but my power rates. So I'm here in Southern California. I'm with SDG&E. And I am on a time of use plan. 3 tiers, peak, off-peak, and super off-peak. I am on the electric car plan because I charge our Teslas after midnight, and that's at 10 cents. During off-peak time, you can see the hours here, 39 cents and 63 cents. And this was from June 1st to October 31st. So I'm kind of in the middle of a cycle right now, in which it's going from October to November, and then I go to winter prices. So I wanted to show you this first, and now I'll show you what our cheaper electric rates are for the winter. I mean, it's horrible. If you don't have solar and power walls, there's no way that you could, as a miner, make this work. So what I'm doing is I have my crypto miners completely turned off. They're all turned off. And I started this back on the 24th or 23rd. What I wanted to do is I wanted to go an entire month, an entire bill cycle of running my house as normal, but selling all of my excess solar back to the grid and seeing how big of a paycheck or how big of a credit I can get, because once a year I can true up, I can sell that solar back to the power company and they can cut me a check. Now, supposedly it's at reduced rates, but I think I want to try this out just to see. The red box shows when my bill cycle ended last month. So starting October 25th, I'm on a new cycle up until today. Today is November 3rd. And the way that you read this is over on the left, it's got a 0. Anything above 0, I'm buying power. Anything below 0, I'm selling power. So the way my setup works is my power walls and everything charges from midnight to 6 a.m. That's the only time I'm buying power from the grid. After 6 a.m., I'm selling that power to the grid and I'm using it in the best way according to the day. So The way this works is if we went back and we looked at the 25th, I purchased 85 Ks from the grid. And and that's at super off peak, so 10 cents a kilowatt. And then I sold, because we're below zero, I sold and will get a credit for 94 kilowatts during off peak prices. And then I get this tiny little bit right here, 5 kilowatt hours or credit for on peak. And that's at 64 cents, right? And so that's the way this has worked all through here. Now, what I did, and you can see, you can do next and go to the next week, which is, this goes until yesterday, and today is currently running. And as you see right here, this is substantially smaller. This is because this is Saturday and Sunday. And on Saturday and Sunday, the super off-peak time runs until 2 p.m. So I'm using a lot more power from the grid than what I'm selling. So this is not as great on these 2 days. However, I am still getting a credit on those days. I created an Excel spreadsheet. Let me show that to you right now. Here is that Excel spreadsheet that I created. And what I did is at the top left, I've got the rate plan info, which shows you the times and prices for super off peak, and peak. And I did that for both summer, which is from June 1st to October 31st, because this kind of ended in the middle of one of these cycles and what I'm doing here. And then the winter from November 1st to May 31st, and those prices in. But what I've done is I went ahead and I filled this out for a month, and I'll come in here and I'll put this in every day and then provide like a total update at the end of the month and what I was actually able to do. So if we go back and we look at the 25th, I purchased 85 kilowatts from the grid. I was given a credit of 94 kilowatts for off peak and 5 for peak. And then underneath that, I have the value of what I did. So, it cost me $8.50 for the 85 kilowatts at 10 cents. But then I made a good credit whenever I sold 94 kilowatts at 40 cents. It was 40 cents, I believe. 40 cents. And also, at peak, this is what I made. So I'm netting for this particular day, regardless. I just put this right here to show you how much I was using, netting out my kilowatt usage for the day. But then underneath it, the value of what I'm buying and what I'm selling back to the grid. So on this one particular day, I've got a credit of $31.40. And you can see as we go down and the credit that I get. And right here on these smaller days, this is the weekend. So obviously I'm using power a little bit differently on Saturday and Sunday than what I am during the week. I just get more credit whenever I sell more back to the grid during off peak and peak. And then in November, on November 1st, that's when the new rates started. And these new rates, as you can tell, I've only had 2 days that are showing up. The days haven't been as sunny as what they normally are, but this is still pretty good. I'm still making more than what I am with my GPU farm. Actually, my helium miners are making just a little bit more than what my solar is doing right now. However, if I come back up and I'm able to produce some of these same numbers, you can see I'm doubling what the helium miners are doing. So what I'm going to do is each day I'm going to come in here, I'm going to add these all up and come up with a total. But where I'm sitting at right now my new bill started on October 25th, and we are currently I've got the numbers. Today is November 3rd. So I've got my information for November 2nd. Everything's in here. So where I'm currently at is $180.85 credit. If I keep up with this same trajectory, the same way that I'm using power and selling power, then I should be right around the $500 in credit from the power company. My true update is in February. So again, what that means is all the power that I produce and gave back to the grid and they gave me a credit for, and then all the power that I've purchased, those two are subtracted. And then what's left over is, let's say I've got negative $1,000, which means the power company owes me $1,000 worth of credit. However, I can request a check once a year. They can cut that and give me a check, and supposedly they give the rate whenever they cut you a check is much lower than if you just keep the credit. You get the value of that credit as long as you keep it on your plan. But you know, why not? Why not try and see what I actually get if I just sit here and bank this for the next few months and see if the power company cuts me a check for around about this amount. It's almost like instead of mining with GPUs, I should just get more solar panels and more Tesla Powerwalls and mine solar. Power's not going anywhere. People always need power. And if anything, we know the cost of power is going to go up. So, and I'm perfectly fine with the cost of power going up because I get a credit at whatever that amount is, at whatever the price rate is that the electric company wants to charge. So anyway, this is just going to be a fun, neat little experiment, if you will, just to see what happens if, or what can I get if I mine the sun. What's going on right now with the market and crypto mining makes me think of a quote by Edward de Bono. There's no doubt that creativity is the most important human resource of all. Without creativity, there would be no progress, and we would be forever repeating the same patterns. Because we as miners have to get creative with how we're mining, what we're mining, how to be efficient, what coin to go after, from GPU coins to CPU coins to internet devices that provide some sort of internet connectivity, whatever. And this leads me to where I'm at, and in which I'm mining, if you will, the sun. Will this lead to a solar crypto coin? Who knows what could happen? However, what I am doing is I'm trying to get creative with my resources and what I have. It's going to be an interesting experiment to see how this all plays out, if it was even worth it at all. So what I'm going to do is at the end of this video, I'm going to leave my Tesla app up. I'm going to scroll through a few menus. That way you can see how the app works, what's going on within the app. And if you have questions, you can ask me and I can answer them on a future video. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you on the next one.